That was not the right intro.
That was not what that was supposed to be.
That's better. That's better.
I
Hey, you can come be the button pusher.
No. Absolutely
Right?
not.
Right? Right?
I can walk and talk. That's about it. Pushing buttons and chewing gum right out the frickin' window.
All right. So, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to click some more buttons, trying to share some stuff. There we go. All right. So, man, it's Friday. It's been a busy week. How about you, Smurf?
Yes, very busy week. The clock is ticking down. The next 3 weeks are ridiculously busy. I mean, yikes. That's all I can say is yike. And somewhere in that mix, I got to get this trimmed up so I look pretty in 14 days when the Colorado Festival of Horror.
Uh-oh. Lost sound again. I can see you, but I can't hear you. There we go. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Man.
I have not touched anything on my end. My hands are here the entire time. I'm not pushing buttons.
So, what kills me, ladies and gentlemen, is that this guy has got some of the nicest microphones and the nicest audio recording settings you've ever seen in his sound booth. But we are back. It's Friday. We have so much stuff going on. This weekend is the Chapel Hills Comic Show and Collectors Showcase or whatever, right here in Colorado Springs at the Chapel Hills Mall. And we're, I think, both going to be there. So if you're there, stop by. It's absolutely free. There's like 35 different artists and vendors going to be there. So be sure and come on by. But what you're really here for is the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. And that's what we're here for. It's Friday. We got a bunch of different entries this week. I started to try and collect entries from a new place. Obviously, we put them on the website. If you post on the Facebook page, you're going to get added to the wheel. But also, I've been looking at some of the threads in Discord. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back on Discord. I'm trying to navigate on Discord. But there's a community there. And actually, I had a client this week for the comic book clinic or the crowdfund clinic. And one of the things that we talked about was he had several campaigns and they were, kind of consistently, the same numbers, and he's kind of locked in this cap of growth. And I said, that doesn't sound like there's a problem with the comic. It sounds like you've capped out on your following and you need to reach new people. And so we were talking about ways to do that, including getting on Discord channels, getting on other groups, things like that. So be sure and check that out. But today we're going to look at 3 brand new indie comics. We have a whole bunch of submissions to the Wheel of Destiny. It's going to choose 3 of them for us. Then we're going to look at them based on, the pitch and which one intrigues us the most and learn some things along the way. And then in the end, we're going to choose one to back. Because in the end, we have an interesting question here from Travis, who actually is one of the biggest supporters of indie comics and who has the Discord channel I've been on. He says, what does Smurf do in comics? I've never asked. I just assumed he was a booth babe. And a booth babe he is. But what else
Very
is
true. I brief rundown on Smurf's comic book history. I've been reading comics since the year of 8. My first comic was actually an EC horror book. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin at this time. So, went down to the dime store, the turnstile, squeaky noises. Horror got me started. My first DC comic was Green Lantern, which then in turn, when I discovered Neil Adams, turned me on to Batman. And for my first Marvel comic, of course, just like everybody, Spidey. Spidey's always been like my first Marvel guy. But I have owned 2 comic book stores. I've been the manager of a couple of other locations. My first comic book store that I owned was 1991. So I ran that successfully for 4 years. Marvel decided to go direct distribution at that time, bypassing Diamond. Bad idea. Marvel almost goes into bankruptcy. I sell my comic book store at that time and kind of go off and do my own thing in the corporate world. So I have 2 degrees, one in marketing, one in broadcast, and a comic book fan for life. So that's just kind of a brief tidbit of everything that I've done. I've written stories. Actually, one of my stories ended up in Wannabe Press's Scary Shit that we talk about, and that's in his anthology and over in Wannabe Press. Russell is an amazing creative and publisher and all of that. If you're not familiar with Russell, you need to pay closer attention because that man is an advocate for independent comics, independent publishing, and I know he's got the Cthulhu series that he's been doing the last few years where he takes submissions from various artists and storytellers. So just a bunch of that stuff. So that's
right on. Well, thank you.
I was there the night Jace Scott Campbell got discovered by Jim Lee. I was standing right next to Jeff, and
oh, wow.
I've known him for years. So I know a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. I have given my vestige of information, knowledge, and everything else as I can to help creatives and the world of comics.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that to the audience. If you guys don't know, I am the creator of a comic book series called Mythica. I also did some other books for CCP Comics back in the day, like the early 212s, 213. I also teach a comic book class at college here in Colorado. I've been doing that since 2016. I have a degree in animation and visual storytelling, and I also have classes on design and marketing. And so that's really where my 2 passions lie: visual storytelling and marketing. I'm really big on like the pitch and what you're getting out of it. Before I got into comics, I actually worked in the film industry doing storyboarding and concept art. And it was during that time that I really got a lot of feedback from editors and producers about pitches. When I started transitioning some of my ideas into comics, I heard a lot of editors or a lot of agents, talking about how what they look for in these pitches when people come to them with books. Hey, the first thing that we're looking at is how much is it going to cost to make and produce this idea of yours. For instance, my book, it takes place in World War I. It has fantasy creatures like, vampires and monsters and stuff. And so that's a larger budget right out of the gate. Now, so right away, they're like, all right, well, we got to ensure that there's a good following for this before we commit to that extra budget. So really learned a lot about the pitch and stuff during that time. Met a lot of different people, most of them names I don't remember because I'm not very good with names. I forget them. But yeah, that's where the experience comes from. I've also done about 9 of my own Kickstarter campaigns. They were all successful, many of them in the 5 digits. And then I've helped dozens of other people do their campaigns. Travis says, that's a long explanation to say I'm the prettiest of all the booth babes. John Westhoff is with us. Welcome, welcome. Sam is with us. So let's check out what we've got on the wheel today. Let's see. Here we go. Going over the Wheel of Destiny. Looks like our first person on the list is Vicky Sticks. Then JD's book, What My Eyes See, I Cannot Tell. We have an awesome book that I believe Travis is part of called Sketch Night #1, Purity #1, Season of the Witch, and we've got Ripped #3, Alice Lost in Wonderland, Don't Combust, the comic series, and then lastly, Phenomenova is still on the charts with issues 1 through 3, their new issue there. And that's the one I mentioned last week that has grown from 48 followers in their first campaign to well over $200 or 200 backers in this campaign. So they are growing for sure. It's pretty awesome to see. So are we ready to spin that wheel? Yeah. All right.
Let's fucking go.
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
All right, let's get to it. #1 is gonna be the first contestant on the Wheel of Destiny. It's gonna be, looks like Vicky Sticks. Now remember, if you'd like to have your entry on the Wheel of Destiny, just be sure and post on the Actionland Studios Facebook page. Take that one off the list. #2. It's going to be, looks like JD's book, What My Eyes See, I Cannot Tell. It's a long title. All right. Congratulations, JD. All right. Let's see if Sketch Night makes it on the wheel this week. Makes it on the Showdown, I should say. He's already on the wheel. Oh, looks like it just got passed up for Purity #1, Season of the Witch. All right, guys. These are just the ones we're going to take a look at, but these other books are all awesome. Be sure and check them out. Phenomenova, Don't Combust, Alice, Lost in Wonderland, Ripped #3, and Sketch Night #1. All right. So while I pull those up, let's get a quick word from about our sponsor. Let's talk about fulfillment for a second. You've worked your butt off to get your comic made and crowdfund your book. Now you're faced with sorting, packing, labeling, shipping, and tracking potentially hundreds of backers. Fulfillment can make or break your indie comic campaign. It can be downright overwhelming, especially if you're a one-person operation. That's why we're excited to share that our new sponsor, Gemini Mailers, now offers full-service fulfillment designed specifically for independent comic creators. They're offering fulfillment starting at just $2.50 per order, including Gemini's premium mailers shipping at cost. No markup storage, no monthly minimums, so you can ship in waves if you want. They even have custom packaging options like shrink wrap, filler pads, and more. These guys get it because they've been mailing our comics for years. And now they've built a warehouse operation that's already helping creators like us fulfill campaigns smoothly. So if your next campaign feels like it's going to bury you in boxes, be sure to check out GeminiComicSupply.com. This isn't just shipping, it's peace of mind. Oh, that worked out well because that enabled me to get all my pages ready. All right, there it is, Gemini Comic Mailers. That's right. Thank you, Gemini, for sponsoring our show. Welcome, Gerald. Gerald's here with us as well. All right, are you guys ready for the first one on the list? We've got Vicky Sticks. Let's go ahead and share that one real fast. Where's the window? Oh, I need to create one. Anyone else not hear Smurf? Because I can't hear Smurf. I see his lips moving. I can't hear him talking. All right. Let us know in the comments if you don't hear Smurf either, because I don't. Maybe you guys can. All right. First up, we've got Benjamin says Smurf is silent. Can't hear him. That's what I thought. All right. He's gonna sign off. Try to come back. We'll see. Vicky Sticks, the 0 issue. Let's see. I'm gonna switch over to this view since got a little bit more room. Vicky Sticks, the 0 issue. Sometimes monsters need heroes, and they get Vicky Sticks in this prequel. For fans of Hellboy, She-Hulk, and 80s Beauty, the Beast and the Beast TV show. All right, so what do we get out of that intro? Remember, your title and your tagline are your first opportunities to connect with people, to hook them in some way. You can just put the title of your book, in the title, but if they don't know what it means, then you might need something a little extra, right? We got the title checklist here. Does it tell us anything about the comic? Does it reflect the genre, protagonist, or tone, or does it just sound cool? There he is. He's back. Welcome, Smurf.
I did a reset. I don't know what else I can do. I think
we can hear you now.
You. All right,
I don't think it's the modem. All right.
I don't know.
So let's go back to this one. Hi, Sam. Thank you. All right. So what do you guys think? The title was Vicky Sticks. We were talking about the title and the tagline. Sometimes monsters need heroes, and they get Vicky Sticks in this prequel.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had Renegade start going through my head when you mentioned Sticks. I just can't get that song out of my head now.
Nice.
I mean, I like the art.
Yeah. So far, so good. It says fans of Hellboy, She-Hulk, and 80s Beauty and the Beast TV show, which I'm interested because, like, Hellboy and Beauty and the Beast, I can kind of see some correlation there with monsters and needing heroes. I'm interested in how it ties in with the She-Hulk angle.
And the fact that Ron Perlman played the Beast and Hellboy, so I mean, I can understand your connection.
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, let her play. We'll see where the sticks fall, where they may.
Yes. All right. Let's see what this video tells us.
They call her the Dead Princess, but you'll know her as Vicky Sticks, protector of all creatures who walk the shadows. Hunted not for what they've done, but what they are. Sometimes the real evil is not what lurks in the dark, but what walks in the daylight. The Dead Princess Vicky Sticks #0 is a full-color prequel comic book. Part story, part source book that pulls you deep inside the supernatural corner of the unstoppable universe. Whether this is your first comic book with us or you've been here since the beginning, Vicky Sticks #0 is the perfect jumping on point for anyone.
All right, there you have it, guys. What did you think of the video? What did it tell you about the content we're going to be getting?
I mean, it kind of lays out the roadmap for what we're expecting. It gave us a page count. It's trying to appeal not only to existing readers, but trying to pull in new ones by definitely stating this is a great jumping on point. So hopefully if there's other Nicky Sticks issues out there. They're available as far as digital downloads, as far as his rewards and all of that. So we'll see that in a minute. But I think all in all, I mean, the audio is good, and we didn't get a bunch of unnecessary fluff. I'm full well expecting what he said, and I like the character design. I mean, I even like the attention to detail with the scar for all of the surgeries and Undertaker, and she's obviously been in an autopsy table, so I'm lots of questions, and it's a good start.
I agree. I think that a couple of things I really liked about the video. I liked that it got straight to the point. I liked that it had voiceover instead of text to read. My slogan, videos aren't for reading. And so I like that he had that. And then he scrolled over the imagery. So we got images, we got voiceover, we got straight to the point. So there was a lot of positives there. Let's get into the story section. We can see here that he's using the jump points, taking advantage of Kickstarter's feature there. Then we got this nice cover piece. And then we have some more graphics here. Have you ever supported Unstoppable Comics on Kickstarter? All returning backers for Vicky Stick Zero gets this holochrome trading card added at no extra cost. Okay. It took me a second to read that the way it was worded. So,
well, not only that, I think it's not only the way it's worded, but this is hard to read. All right. This font is cool, but translates poorly on a digital and format at all. I mean, even printed, this would be difficult to read. This is not doing you any favors. Cool factor, yes. Practicality factor, -5. Sorry. I mean, it's just I can't read that. I just can't read it.
For anybody listening, we talk about this in my graphic design students degree class all the time. That it's a tendency for people who are just learning to do text that, I can't read this text, so I'm going to put an outline around it, or a stroke, as we call it. And if you are doing that for small text, then you're doing something wrong. The only time you really should be using strokes is for large text, like this wizard logo on this magazine right below it, titles, things like that. When you add a stroke around small text, you're actually making it more difficult to read, because as it gets smaller, all those pixels sort of blend together. So instead, I would have gone with something bright, like a bright yellow or a bright green, just by itself with no stroke around it. No, because this has a stroke and a drop shadow, and there's comic book pictures going on behind it. So that's probably why it's hard to read. So a good catch there, Smurf. All right, so here we get into this graphic. Now, I think, yes, this section right here, where we have all of this, who is Vicky Sticks, the imagery and stuff like that. This is really well designed. It looks cool. We have these big subtitles, and then a paragraph, and an image, and it's broken up into bite-sized chunks. These are all good things. The only thing I would say is that so far, every single thing, the first part is the image, then we have these two pieces, and then we have this long section, but that's still all a graphic. It's text inside of a JPEG. And the only problem with that is it still works as long as it's readable, but the main problem with that is that there are no words, no text for Kickstarter to actually scan with their bots when they're doing a search. If there's something in here like supernatural, it says make a supernatural comic book right here, or Unstoppable Comics, Defender of the Dark, right? If someone is typing that in the search engine in Kickstarter, if there's text in your story section that says those things, then it's going to pop up. But if it's all contained inside of an image, it can't see that stuff. It can't look inside of that. It just sees an image there. So what I recommend to people is sort of break this up. Use the "Who is Vicky Sticks" title here. He's got a graphics, add that graphic. And then the section below it, the paragraph, actually type that in the Kickstarter part so that there's real text. And then go where it says the story so far. That's another uploaded graphic. And you have all these cut up pieces so that it's back and forth between graphics and actual text. It's a small thing, but it definitely helps in searches. So something to keep in mind. The other challenge is that if you do a graphic with text on it, like we're just talking, you got to have the size of that text just right for readability. So it's another thing. But enough about that. Let's get into what this is about.
Small? Is the text small, or is it just my monitor? Because it looks tiny. Like it'd be difficult to read.
I can read it. I can read it on my screen just fine. So okay. I think it's about the same size as normal. Like it's not much smaller, for instance, than the text over here in the jump points.
Okay. So it's just my monitor. So that's fine, but it's not doing it any favors. Just check.
So it says, "Who is Vicky Sticks?" Vicky Sticks is an unstoppable comics defender of the dark. She walks in the shadowy line between our world and the one that lurks just beneath it. While most fear the creatures of the night, Vicky understands them because she is one herself. Armed with ancient knowledge and attitude not to mess with, Vicky is the last line of defense for werewolves, specters, and all things that go bump in the night. My first, this is cool. I like the tone that he's setting with this character so far. My first question is, against whom? Like who she's I assume a werewolf and other things are pretty capable, So who is she defending them against that they cannot defend themselves against as a werewolf, right? That's so I'm intrigued.
Right. Well, and
the
it's
story
kind
so
of like
far.
go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to say it's kind of like a mashup with, Grimm and The Witcher, and I like that he expanded on his voiceover. So we get like the first part of that is the voiceover that we hear in the beginning video, and then we get an add-on to it. So I really appreciate him expanding on that pitch. I think that's a great idea. Amazing selling point.
Right. This says the story so far. This is not just another issue. It's the perfect jumping on point. You don't need to read anything from any of our other books to dive into this. It stands on its own. So then we've got why make this book? Where's the money going? Will there be add-ons? And why Kickstarter? So this is all like nice, important questions, but nothing too heavily detailed about what the conflict here is. Like, we know she's a protector. That's good information. But again, like I asked earlier, like a protector against what? What is so awesome that it's able to take out all these creatures that go bump in the night, werewolves and vampires? Why is it? And why is she the one that's more capable than werewolves? Right. So that's my questions. We've got some awesome looking action interior pages. Really well drawn. I love the composition, the panel flow, lots of action. This looks like a fun comic. We can see her fighting off against some sort of undead. Maybe he's just masked. I don't know. Then we got some more action there. So these are great looking panels. And then they're showing off their other catalog, Unstoppable Comics digital catalog. Look at all those books. They've done quite a few. And then we have stretch goals. So let's get into some of the variants real fast. Or not the variants, the reward goals. There's a print there that's pinned at the top. So first one is Vicky Sticks #0 digital, $3. That's a great deal for a 24-page book.
That's a great deal. Yeah.
Then there's Vicky Sticks #0 and #1 digital. So I'm assuming he made one and then he went back and made this. That's kind of the first indication that I've gotten of that. Both are 24-page full comic, and that's what you get digital for $6. Again, that's a great deal. And then you can also get the number 0 and number 1 print and digital copy of 0 and number 1 for $15. Again, that's a great deal.
Wow.
That's probably why there's over 20 people already backing it. And then there's one for $24, the digital ones, digital copies only of the number 1 issues from the Unstoppable Comics catalog, as listed below. And down below that says there's 8 items included. So I'm assuming that's 8 different number 1s, but they're all digital format. So that's kind of an introductory kind of thing to their whole universe. This one's a book and a t-shirt. Then we have the entire digital catalog, a lot of digital rewards, and I can understand why people are going towards a lot more of that too. Then we got Vicky Stick 0 with some trading cards. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Our last one is $250 on the Blood Red Mega Collector. This is for a print and digital copy of Vicky Sticks 0, number 0, and number 1. Also includes all 4 Blood Red foil variants for number 1, which I think is what we're looking at here on the bigger screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the trading card set, along with 2 t-shirts of your choice. So you get shirts, trading cards, and 4, 5, 6 comics. All right, so there it is. That's the campaign in a nutshell.
Is there a limit on the red foil? Because I mean it's still reasonable, but those 4 alone, if they're $25, puts it at 100, and then you still have the other 150 to kind of make up the difference. So that one doesn't math right in my head, but
I think one of the reasons that the math is hard to calculate is you see all this on the screen right now. This just says trading cards under it. And over in that description, it says the trading card set is included, but I don't know how many cards that is. I don't know if that's this whole set right here. If so, you're going to get all those cards in that package along with the books and the 2 t-shirts. So maybe that's why.
Okay, maybe. And then but I mean, that's trading cards of what? I don't know. I
would assume they're trading cards of characters from their universe,
which is fine, and I can understand them trying to entice readers to expand on other titles. But I mean, we're kind of here for her, and I think you're distracting from this campaign with the rest of your publishing house. I mean, it should be incentives. That's fine, but you're diminishing your impact on Vicky Sticks. I would, in my humble opinion, I would focus on maybe like a print or something specific that could be a limit item, or a sketch of Nikki in less than nothing or something. I mean, you're kind of diminishing on taking her character and emphasizing her. So I would make the spotlight a little bit more about her on the rewards rather than the rest of the publishing house, because now I'm confused. I don't know if I want to read all of these number 1s. I great that it's digital, but again, what I'm here for is Vicky, not the other stuff. So on the $250 one, I would mix that up a little bit and do a special, 8.5 by 11 sketch print or something, or a sneak peek of who's the villain. We still don't know what makes monsters wet themselves in the middle of the night. Why does Dracula need a bodyguard? Why does God need a starship? Those are the questions that are in my mind right now, and I don't there's a little bit of a disconnect, just a little. But I like what I see.
I agree. And I want to add that this week, like I said, I had a crowdfund clinic client, and I took some of that information and I made a blog post on my website. So if you want to go check it out, get into more detail, it's at ashlandstudios.com. But in that blog post, I kind of coined another phrase that said, clutter kills clarity, right? And what I see here happening is very similar to what I saw in that crowdfund clinic. By the way, when I do that clinic, there's like 4 pages that the client got about breakdowns of positives and negatives. But in both of these campaigns, what I'm seeing is that they've got this big universe and this big library of comics, and they're kind of utilizing a lot of that to try and prop up, this campaign. And 2 things ends up happening. One, as you pointed out, it doesn't really, it clutters up the clarity. You're like, wait, I'm trying to figure out, what's going on with this comic, but instead I'm getting a lot of information about the other world, the other books, the other universe kind of stuff. And so I'm getting mixed signals. That's problem number 1. And problem number 2 is that this tends to lean heavily on the previous backers. Like they all already know about this universe, and you're just kind of talking to them about, you can get all these books from our universe because you're a fan of our universe, and not really focusing on the new people, the people who have no idea about your universe or your comic or any of it. They're all brand new. And so if it were me, I would, like he said, really focus in on this book. The 0 and the 1 together, that's great. That's fine. But more about like, what is the conflict? What's at stake? Like, what happens if she should fail at her duties? Who's going to die, or what's going to happen? That way there's some sort of investment. Right now, it's mostly just premise. Here's our character. Aren't they awesome? Right. So that's part of it, but we want more a little bit. And then with all the other stuff that you have, the rewards and stuff, I still think they can be used in your rewards and in your add-ons, but just in a way that's like, you're going to get all this stuff about Vicky Styx and also this other stuff, not really making that the focus, but just as an addendum. Like, I'm also going to throw in some stuff for you that you haven't seen before, but more about that later. Here's the meat and potatoes,
Yeah. I mean, it's a great add-on. It's a nice cherry on top. But I mean, in the end, wouldn't we be better off with less werewolves? They eat people.
Right? But I mean, I get the concept of like, hey,
werewolves are people too.
Monsters are people too, and I'm here to defend them. I mean, the premise sounds great. In fact, it reminds me of I think there was a TV show, it might have been a comic too, of like the female descendant of Van Helsing, and she was like saving people.
Yes.
And so I think that that's still a great premise. So like I said, I think just a little bit more clarity on that. But honestly, there are so many positives about this. JD has some great art going on. The concept and the premise is cool. I want just a little bit more information about what this hook is, what's at stake, and what's the real conflict here. Who's the villain, like you said? Because especially if there is an introduction of this villain in issue 0, that means that this is a key issue. This could be like the first appearance of a particular character, and we might want to know that.
And I think there's a lot going on. There's a lot of good. I would just streamline it. Really, I really would. I mean, I think it's great. Agreed.
All right, that brings us to our next one. We're gonna stay efficient today. We're gonna keep on rolling on. Next up is another JD. So this one we just did was from JD, spelled Jaydee Rosario. And this new one that we're going to look at, what my eyes see, I cannot tell, is from JD Calderon. Now, some of you guys might know these two. Both of these comic creators have appeared on their own show quite a bit. They're like, I see them both on a shared show all the time. So let's take a look into this one. Again, let's start at the top. We've got What My Eyes See, I Cannot Tell, 1 through 4. By the title, that's obviously the title of this issue or this book, I'm assuming. But I believe the Oswald Chronicles is the ongoing world and universe. And so if I don't know anything about this yet, I'm at this point, I'm just relying on the imagery and the title. Then it says in the tagline, Oswald recounts of how he first met his wife and fell in love with her and gained an empire by doing so. So based on that recollection or on that tagline, it sounds like this is going to be like a story that Oswald's telling to somebody about how he met his wife.
His children, his grandchildren. It's very Conan sounding.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I conquered the land and I fell in love and now everything is mine.
Maybe so. I don't know. He's got a modest goal of 500, but because of that, he's crushed it with $2,617 and 53 backers. So that is that's pretty good. I don't know exactly how many books that JD Colleran has done, but I know it's several because I know it says right here he's done 45 campaigns, and so maybe we'll see some higher numbers there on the backers because it's still got a ton of time left.
I mean, that's $49 per freaking supporter. I mean,
yes. Now there's a reason for that because I scrolled down and looked at the rewards just before the show, and right. there is some reason for that average, we should say. It is on projects we love, which is always a nice little bump. It doesn't have a video though, so we're gonna be skipping the video section. All right,
doesn't have a video or the cut to. That's two big misses, man. Come on.
It doesn't have video. What'd you say?
Or the jump points. Or the jump points.
Jump points?
Right there. Right.
Yep. No jump points being used.
Space. Anyway.
All right. So right off the bat, and I know Benjamin has pointed this out before, there's 3 big paragraphs to chew on. And so that's sometimes a lot for people. I really like how the JD before it had like a title and then like 2 or 3 sentences and then another subtitle, 2 or 3 sentences. That helps break it up a little bit. I think that this would benefit from that. All right, in the story, let's find out if we can find out what in the heck is this story about and who is Oswald, right? I don't know who Oswald is. In issues 1 and 2, Oswald and his friend Martin are returning home from a night of fine food and celebration when they find themselves in pursuit of a strange flying object that leads them into a portal, trapping them in a parallel dimension and at the mercy of privateers and their captain Alvarez. While looking over the crew, Oswald is stunned to see Mar amongst them, the people he once ruled over in a dream. But this time he's far from dream, and it causes him to question many things he had been told and believed, and he sees his long-lost wife, Belinda, being held by these interdimensional pirates. That was a lot going on there. That's the first paragraph. What do you got from that so far?
A headache.
No. That's
okay, so too many names, too many premises. So his world is one set, but he walks through a portal from something that fell out of the sky into a parallel dimension. But how do they know it's a parallel dimension and just not like the future or whatever? there's a lot of questions and characters that I don't know anything about. What happened to his wife? So she's not around anymore? Why does she exist here and not where? What? You're relying too much on established characters and readership. So this is great for the people that know what the fuck is going on. I don't. And now I got a headache. And no video.
What, Sam, you're hitting buttons. Damn it. What just happened? Hold on.
What did you do?
He hit, I don't know. He hit buttons and like, I can't figure out where I'm at. Give me a second.
You're fine. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being too harsh, but I just think that there's a lot going on, and you can trim this down. That is a lot to disseminate, to digest, to wrap your brain around. Because, okay, why were they out partying? What happened? And all of that. So again, there's a lot of leaps of faith and taking things for granted. As a new reader, that is who you are trying to hook. That is the utmost priority. Number one, that's the objective. Get new readers. And this does not encourage new readers. This just makes us go, okay, well, evidently I don't know enough about any of this, and they move along.
Yep. So one of there's a lot of different things I could suggest to make this a little bit more streamlined. You have a large universe that's been created, JD, and I think something that would be fun and easy for people to digest is creating some sort of new reader map, right? This is Oswald. This is the new issue. This, kind of laying out a visual reading map of where to start. Start here with this book. Are you new to Oswald? Go check out this. Are you a returning fan? Go here. But even that is something that we want to put down a little bit. The first section, the section that's in the green right now, that needs to be a quick, like 1 sentence, 2 sentence elevator book, a pitch with, a hook type of thing. Will they succeed? Will he get his wife? That kind of thing. And then you can go into something, new. Like if you said in the, in the thing like Oswald's a fledgling sorcerer that is caught between the real world of New York and the realm of a dream, and he stumbles through a portal and faces interdimensional privateers. Will he, be able to rescue his wife or things like that? Just very quick type of solutions. But and I also feel like some of this stuff, some of that clarity of like, this is the world you're stepping into, this is what's happened so far, would be a great place for a video, a great thing to video to kind of introduce the tone and what kind of book this is going to be. Is it going to be serious, romance, adventure? What are we looking at there?
Well, and even if it was posed as a question, like say for example, he just puts in there, if you don't think your decisions have consequences, Oswald is faced with just that. As he steps through a portal into an alternate dimension, he realizes not everything could have gone to plan, or just something that just throws everything out of whack. Like, ooh, okay. So just building on the character and the foundation of like all of his decisions that he's made. Oh, here's the other side of it. Here's how it could have gone. So, I mean, I would just cut that down and just streamline it into something that I can get behind. I just know that there's a shit ton of stuff going on, and I don't know.
Let's take a look at the rest though, because there's still a lot of really cool content here. We've got these covers and cover by Jay Gonzalez, another cover by Jose Garcia. Another Jay Gonzalez. This reminds me of what is it? The
Mouse
Adventures Down Under, what was that cartoon show? Like Adventures Down Under or something like that.
Are you thinking the Rescuers Down Under?
Yes.
I mean, like that's yeah. Bianca and I can't. Rupert? No. What was the other? What's Bob Newhart's mouse name? I think it is Rupert. Well, there's a stretch. Maybe. I mean, it does. I mean, you know what? I like the art. I like the characterization of the animals, and I think that looks spectacular. Is the interiors? Rescue Rangers. There you go. Chippendale. Is the interior this art as well?
Let's find out. I think this right here is the interior. I would probably suggest like some sort of subtitle in between the covers and the interiors that says this is the interiors. Apparently they're in grayscale, so I would probably also like leverage that, saying something like, hey, these interiors are grayscale by design to be moody and high contrast, and like so that people know that like it's a selling point and not just it's only in grayscale. You can control that narrative sometimes with the way that you word things. But here we've got the interiors. They do look grayscale. Looks like there's a lot of action. Look at those beasties up in the upper right. It's very, very adventurous. Magic. He's casting some magic here. So those are the interiors that we're looking at. They look like the same style, just in grayscale. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of interior samples. That's always a nice thing to see. We're still going. And then we've got our creators. And then we're done. So I would say that so far, I like the premise. I feel like there's some more clarity needed, and that there's so much going on in this universe that we need to trim it down to just what's not just even this particular issue, but like just even this 4-issue series, because it sounds like there's a whole bunch of other series that have happened.
So much going
on. So let's take a look real fast at the rewards. We've got for a big indie sample taste for $1 single, you can get the Oswald Chronicles #1, My First Day PDF, the Oswald Chronicles one-shot. It came seeking me like 5 different individual books, including Ego Raven, which is a comic from someone else, I thought. Maybe not. Maybe I'm confused about that. Then we get to PDF level 1 for $10. You receive a PDF version of What My Eyes Cannot See, issues 3 and issues 4. Not 1 and 2, though. Then for the level 2, for $18, you get a PDF of all 4 issues. Okay. So another thing that I'm realizing right now is that this is issue 4 of a 4-issue arc. And so this should ideally be the climactic finale of this arc. And so that's kind of how I would be wording this pitch. Issue 4 is the climactic finale of this showdown between Oswald and these pirates. Will he rescue his wife? Find out in the climactic finale. Something to that effect.
Because I was under the impression that we're releasing all 1 through 4, not that this is issue 4 and 3 issues have come prior to this. So I'm with you. So that's a reveal to me.
I do think that this is a common practice, and that a lot of indie creators have conversed about the best way to approach this, and that is that you've got an issue 4. If you just put such and such comic issue 4 in the title, there's a fear that people automatically will reject it. So they put issues 1 through 4, even though this campaign is truly about issue 4. And then you can get the other ones. I get the logic there. I get the thing. I just think that clarity, again, almost going back to that, that map of like, hey, this is the final issue in a 4-issue arc. You can get this 1. You can get all 4. They're all available here. Really focusing in on just those 4 issues first, and then way down below, like below even your preview comics, you can go on to say, And we have a whole universe where you can dive in deeper with all these other things. So then we get into the physicals. Under rewards, we have $20. You get issues 3 and 4. Now, we saw this on the last campaign, and I know that JD and JD talk to each other a lot, and they're on the same show a lot. So maybe they have like exchanged tactics here. But
Best practices.
they're offering these packages that are issues 3 and 4 of a 4-issue arc. We saw something similar with the last campaign, and then down below, you can get all 4 issues. That's an interesting approach. It's kind of like, what if I just want to get issue 4? Maybe I've already got issues 1 through 3. Is there a tier just for that? I've got a PDF of level 1. I've got a physical of 3 and 4. Right next to that, I've got a physical of Oswald Chronicles Volume 1, which is like a different book from this universe. Then I've got, for $25, a physical copy of alternate covers of issues 3 through 4.
3 and 4.
And then finally, we have the regular set of covers 1 through 4. But this is all 4 issues. So, unless my eyes deceive me, there is not a tier that is just issue 4. So that might be something that we want to look at.
You're overcomplicating it. The focus, if this is the release of number 4, to Matt's point, that should be the highlight. That should be the star. That is the potatoes. That's what we're here for. And again, appealing to the existing readers is fine, but new readers this confuses them. I just want issue 4. Let me read issue 4. And even those returning are probably like, well, I already have issue 3. To Matt's point, you're making it overly difficult. Make it simple, stupid. Okay. And I know all of these tiers, and you're trying to bring in our readership. And again, I think you're diluting and sabotaging yourself unnecessarily. You don't need to do this. Focus on the star. It's issue 4. Next below that, variant covers, boom, and then start expanding on the universe. I'm not saying that we don't want to, and I would probably do it, but finding it is confusing. There's no logical flow to it. The flagship, the star of the show, is issue 4. Then build off of that. So break it down. Simple, stupid, because this just overcomplicates it, frustrates your backers, and they go elsewhere. I love everything about this. It's just all over the place, though.
So yeah, this goes right along with that. Clutter kills clarity. I can't even say it this morning. But this is exactly what it's suffering from. There's a great comic here. There's a great story here. From what I can pull from all the descriptions, there's a lot of rich world building and storytelling going on here. But it's being kind of cluttered up, and I have to dig through and wade through all this stuff to get to it. And it's a little convoluted. So one, I would think, just simplify it, clarify a little bit. I love the idea of creating some sort of visual roadmap of like, these are all the books. This is how this book ties into this book. If you want to connect these and read them in a specific order or chronological order. But there's just like this roadmap. And again, that would come later, but really focusing heavily on the new backers. Getting new backers should always, in my opinion, should almost always be priority 1 when you're thinking about how to set up marketing, how to set up wording, because your returning backers are most likely going to back pretty easily. It doesn't take much work to say, hey, I got a new comic, I got a new campaign. They're on board already, so you're always trying to get those new people. And then here's the thing. I do this with Mythica because obviously there's more stuff involved in my universe as well. Once you send them issue 4, there can be QR codes inside the book, both digitally and physically, where they can go get the rest of these issues somewhere. You can sell them, promote them, advertise them, whatever you want to call it, right there in your book once they have it in their hands. You don't have to do all of that work in this Kickstarter. So that brings us to our next one, which is Purity #1. Looks like we lost Smurf again. Hopefully he'll be back. While we're here, let's check this comment. Benjamin says, I have seen later issues of a series not let you get older issues, not even digitally. That's crazy. I don't understand the tactic there. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe you guys know a reason. I don't know why. So I'm going to keep moving forward before we run out of time. This is Purity #1, Season of the Witch, Rose Variant Edition. That title, Rose Variant Edition, immediately makes me think there's another edition. And sure enough, in the tagline, it says, a second chance at experiencing the adventure of our heroic Hellion Purity as she embarks on a journey of revenge and redemption. So this sounds like a re-release. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But again, what I'm looking for right now is I've never seen this book. I don't, have any knowledge of it. So this book should be targeted to me and, hooking me as a new reader. Not just, hey guys, all you guys that already spent money on my book, I've got a new version of it. Go spend money on that. Like, that's not a viable reason, right? It feels like a money grab if that's all it is. But if this is really trying to hook me with as if it's a new issue, then I think you're going to get new backers, which is what you want. They've hit their goal of $500 with 28 backers. They're not using the jump points over there. But we got this Sky Maiden Studios presents Purity #1, some sexy, cool artwork on the cover, Rose Edition. And there was no video on this one either. All right, this says, welcome to Purity 1, Season of the Witch, Rose Edition. This campaign serves as a second printing of Purity #1, a new era bad girl comic that focuses on Margaret Adams, a Puritan girl from 1673 Salem who was wrongfully accused of witchcraft and unfortunately suffered the inevitable fate. After becoming enslaved in the underworld, she decides to seek revenge on the person who put her there, her own sister, Mary. So this is a reintroduction of a fantasy bad girl series that contains action, plot, character growth, and serves as a love letter to the 90s era of comics. If you enjoy titles such as Lady Death Witchblade, then you'll come to the right place. Okay, so that's our pitch. So this is what has been given to me as a new reader. It's a new era bad girl that focuses on this Puritan girl from 1673. So here's my question. If she's wrongfully accused of witchcraft, but suffered the inevitable fate, which we all know is being burned at the stake or burned, alive or whatever. If she's wrongfully accused, then why did she become enslaved in the underworld? Why would she go to a bad place if she was a good person that was wrongfully accused? I'm not sure how that works. I'm sure maybe it'll tell us. But her sister is the one who put her there. That's an interesting twist. I like that. What do you guys think? Is there enough there in that introductory sentence or two to be a pitch for this comic? What do you think? As I move on down. This is the creator, Nick Capone. If you're new to Purity, welcome. If you're a returning fan of our heroic Hellion, welcome back. I am not. I don't know about this. First ever drawing of Purity. That's funny. I like that. Josh says that the pitch is straightforward and he likes it. All right, very good. Thank you, Josh. So this is again some more of the covers. He's kind of going on a history rant here of how these books came to pass. And then after Purity 1 funded and was met with a very positive response, we launched and funded the next 2 issues. Yada yada yada. So my next question is there anywhere that tells us how many pages this book is? Starting at the top, scrolling down. I don't see anything about that. So that's definitely something that I would include, is how many pages am I getting for this? So other than that plot hole or plot beat about losing her soul and going into the underworld, but all in all, like I said, I like the art. I like the concept here. And there's already a conflict or a story set. Basically, she got sent somewhere, has been, stuck in the underworld, and now she wants to seek revenge on the person who put her there. That's pretty straightforward. I think the only thing that's missing to really give it a sense of excitement and urgency is what happens if she doesn't succeed, right? If she doesn't go and take out her sister Mary, does she just go back to living in the underworld? Or does she maybe gain her freedom, right? That would be a nice added bit of stakes. It's like the only way to save Frida, save herself and get out of the underworld is to hunt down and her sister Mary who put her there. Something to that effect. So that's what I would add to that. Hey, look, Smurf is back. He's back.
Internet crash. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. We are a little bit of the ways in to this last one that is called Purity #1. There was no video. It is a reprint. And they did a pretty straightforward explanation saying that there's a girl from 1673 Salem who was wrongfully accused of witchcraft, got burned at the stake, sent to the underworld, and now she wants revenge on her sister who put her there in the first place.
Okay, I like the motivation. All right, yeah. Bitch gonna die.
Then there's quite a bit of talk about the creator and stuff. One of the other things that I am not 100% clear on is what is different from this issue than the previous issue, because this one is referred to as the Rose Edition. Is it just that it's a variant cover? Or is there something special about it? This is the Rose Edition cover. Probably because Courtney Rose did the art, I'm assuming. But that's about it. Oh, and we do have some interior pages. That's always nice. I was hoping I get to see that. Very colorful.
Boobies.
Yep, there's boobies. And so from what I can gather, just by looking at pictures, the only thing different is that there's there's this new cover. So essentially it's just a variant cover release. So all right, now we know what we're getting.
So was there, okay, so maybe you covered this, but why? I mean, why
are they
did
doing
the first one fund? Yeah. I mean, okay, so you're reprinting. Is there new content? Is there new story? Is it just a variant cover by this artist? I mean, I like the way it looks, but I mean, was the other one not successful, or how long since the last campaign?
Apparently, according to the description here, it says that after Purity 1 funded and it had a positive response, they fulfilled and sold their copies at conventions and comic shops. And so now they're announcing a exclusive variant cover edition. Basically a reprint because they were out. And so rather than just reprint the same one, they're reprinting it with a cover, or a different cover. Honestly, I mean, I can understand that, especially when you're a small press. You're only making like 500, 1,000 copies, maybe, or maybe 2,000 copies. And you sell out and you need to make more. And they're like, hey, well, let's make an exclusive. I get that. But I think there's an opportunity here to like make it a bit more prestigious or special. Like if someone else already has issue 1 that came out and it's sold out, and then I buy issue 2, the person who's holding issue 1 still has the upper hand and says, well, yeah, this was the first printing. First printing is always more valuable than second printing. And this one sold out. So what makes your comic better than mine? Well, maybe there's something else in it. Maybe there's some extra stuff that's not in your comic. Something like that.
I mean, at least maybe a hook for issue 2. There's no mention of issue 2. There's no mention of the continuing of the story. So maybe even doing like an ash can, like the final 3 pages are a prelude to issue 2. But I mean, I understand working on a budget. I understand you don't want to pay to print your comic, but you're suffering from your own success. And I don't necessarily approve of passing that service on to the reader. Like we ran out, so we're going to print more, but you guys are going to pay for it. And I mean, I get it. I understand economics. I'm very good with numbers, but this seems just kind of cagey. I mean, this is just like, yeah, we need money. We need a comic. So we did a new cover and we're just going to reprint the file that we already have. Nothing new. And I don't like that.
Strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Just, I mean, am I wrong? I don't know. I mean,
I would say
you're taking it. I mean, like you're taking advantage of your readers.
Well, like I said earlier, I do agree. I understand that when books run out,
yes,
you got to print more, and you don't have to like.
Yes.
But here's the thing: like you're saying, if I make, if I have 500 books or 1,000 books, and I sold them all, then I should have made a profit, right? So some of that money should be already covered. But then you have like, a new thing. You're like, well, we're going to make a new cover. I get that. And I'm totally fine with that. I get on board with that. But then like you said, let's make it something, special, give it a tease of the next issue, make it have some value, make it prestigious so that even the people that have the previous issues are going to want it. Now, granted, Courtney Rose, I think, is a recognizable name. It has done a lot of covers. And so that itself might get enough people. Looking over at the rewards, we've got Purity #1 digital PDF rose cover is $10. So just a PDF, $10 seems steep because it doesn't cost any different to have a digital PDF of this. Imagine if you got the digital PDF of the other one and you're paying another $10 because this one has a different cover. The standard edition cover is $20. Now, a standard printed of the exclusive Courtney Rose cover, Purity 1 is digital copy. Purity Virgin variant rose cover. So there's a second one that's a variant cover. And that's it. Three tiers, $10, $20, and $30. So this makes it, this does make it feel like it's just trying to make some extra money. I hate to say it, but it just makes it feel that way. What do you guys think in the comment section?
It's very gougy, in my opinion. This isn't
gougy.
I mean, I don't want to say this isn't cool, but this is like gouging your fan base. And I mean, and I don't want to throw the name McFarlane out there, but this is like when McFarlane Toys first started. You've got all of the same figure with just variant paint jobs on it, and you got the fans going freaking nuts trying to collect all these different variants of the exact same toy and driving up the price. This is not cool. And in this description, there is no indication that there's another story to follow. There's nothing to come on this. So
That's what she said.
I would, if anything, I would just limit this to just if you have the opportunity to buy the comic or a 8.5 by 11 freaking print of the variant cover.
Yeah.
Get a little creative. Go outside of the box. If I'm buying an existing comic that I already have, give me something that I can sink my teeth in. Make this a print. Give me a digital copy of the book in case I don't have it, and a print of the variant cover, because the art is great. And you're right. I know Courtney Rose, and I would honestly say that just do a print. I don't want to be negative. I'm trying to be positive here. But ick is a good word.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Again, I feel like this can be done, but it has to be done in a way that makes it feel unique. One of the things that they say up above is that this is a brand new Kickstarter exclusive variant cover, but they're not really clear on what that means. So what I expect that to mean is that this is the only place you're ever going to be able to buy it. It will not be available in stores. It will not be available this. So I would, first of all, spell that out in no undeniable terms that, like, this is the only place to get this. You can't purchase this anywhere else. So that gives it right away a little bit more prestige, a little bit more rarity, limited edition kind of stuff. And then, like, because I can understand, like, wanting to raise money to print more books. But if you're going to go release this cover out back into stores again or sell it again at conventions, then this really isn't a Kickstarter exclusive, right? So that's what I would say is, make it more exclusive, give him a little bit more out of it, make it have an introduction of something else, maybe some sketches, something in there that makes this unique. And something that Benjamin brought up that they never said, how many pages are in this book? 24 pages are not worth a $10 PDF. And a lot of people would agree with you, Benjamin. But they never actually say how many pages are in this issue, because I feel like this is sort of a rushed campaign, right? Fish is here with us. Yeah, it's been a crazy show. We've had some crazy stuff. We had campaigns. Let's actually recount right now as we come to the end. Our first campaign was Vicky Sticks from JD Rosario. Our second campaign was from the Oswald Chronicles, What My Eyes See I Cannot Tell, from JD Alderon. And then our final one here was a reprint book called Purity that is from Nick Capone. And this book definitely is a single issue reprint. There's only 3 reward tiers, and so far they've raised $780. I feel like you could also make some quick money if they had the original to this cover. And be like, somebody wanted to buy the original, here's $1,000. Boom, there's all the money you need.
Yeah, the original sketch of it, something.
Yep. All right, guys. So it's been an interesting show. Only one of these 3 had a video this week. So which one is it going to be? Vicky Sticks, the Oswald Chronicles book, or Purity number 1? I'm writing mine down. My choice right
I'm
now.
doing the same.
All right. So what do you guys think? Which one you feel like did the best job of presenting their book? We saw ways to improve all of these. So for JD and JD, if you guys are listening, be sure and reach out and we'll happy to give you some more feedback. But I'm ready. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
I'm ready, he says. All right. Drum roll, please. There it is. Hey, we got on the same page. With no need for the wheel this week. All right, there you have it. And I chose that one because it had the most overall things. He had a video. He used the jump points. He had some information about who is Vicky Styx, what they were doing. The only thing that was really missing is the villain and the conflict. What that part was. The rest of it was pretty good. We saw a little bit of convolution on the rewards there as well, but all in all, definitely the best presented campaign of the three, for sure.
Agreed. And I know he's probably trying to keep the villain ambiguous for a reason. I don't think he's benefiting by doing that, but all in all, I mean, it is a more complete campaign, better pitch that you're walking away with less questions than all three of them. So that's kind of why I went with it, because I'm like, well, I know more about this one than the other ones. A video may or may not have helped the other two, or just maybe have raised more questions. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, guys, if you haven't already, be sure and like and subscribe. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers, and you can help us get there. If you'd like to get your campaign reviewed before you launch and save the possibility of losing backers, be sure and head on over to actionlinestudios.com and check out the crowdfund clinic. It ranges from $20 and caps out at $35. Basically, that's the cost of one backer to go have your campaign reviewed. The last time I did a review this past week, I had 4 pages of feedback. Now, that's not just negative. It lists all the positives that you're doing well, the negatives, as well as the solutions. What can be done to improve those things? So be sure and check that out. It's a service that is now offered that you can get before you launch. All right. And then if you're interested, you can check out my book, Mythica, at Action Line Studios as well. All right. For anybody local, don't forget that this weekend, starting tomorrow, is the Chapel Hills Collectibles and Comics Show. Smurf and I will both be there. I'll definitely be there, as well as
I will be there.
30 other vendors. So come check it out. So Smurf, where can they find you and see us out?
Be sure to visit our sponsor, Gemini Supplies, if you have just finished a campaign, or if you're a vendor or a retailer or an independent seller. These guys have amazing product, stuff for you to ship. Look at their site. Go to GeminiComicSupply.com. Check out what you may need, because I'll guarantee they have it. I will be joining Matt tomorrow and the weekend at the Chapel Hills Mall. And then, I mean, it's a whirlwind after that. You can follow us, if you're not up to date, on 5280geek.com, 5280geek on Facebook, 5280geek on Instagram. There is lots and lots of stuff. I just posted up my latest podcast, Weekend Geek Update, where I dissect and face off, finally, Superman versus the Fantastic Four, and who is the better movie, and a comparison of the characters that I think are very similar but different. So go check that out on all major podcasting platforms. But in the meantime, we will see you next week or tomorrow. But until then, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night!